This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody, welcome to show 171 Aussie Mac Zone. Lucky enough to have Garth and Nick again tonight, and we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. Affordable and competitive plans, 99.95% uptime, domain registration, and remember there's lots more domains these days. You know, it's just amazing how many top level domain names there are. Instant activation, accepts PayPal, 250 scripts installed with one click, including WordPress. And remember, with WordPress, they've got a plugin so that you can publish to Apple News. So just keep that in mind. So from $5.95 per month when paid annually. So how are you tonight, Garth?
G'day, Michael. How you going?
Good, mate.
I'll let you get through the whole thing without interrupting you tonight. How about that?
Yeah, it's all good, mate. See, I'm getting into trouble because I haven't...
Top level domain. You think of a top level domain and it's probably there.
Yes, these days there's so many these days. It's amazing, isn't it?
All sorts of weird things.
Yeah. And I've got Nick switching me in, and I've already got a lecture because I didn't turn the ad off, and so there you go. See, get my butt kicked already.
There you go.
If it's not one end, it's the other. So our Aussie Apple Ramblings, we've got story one. Nintendo's Super Mario Run for iPhone requires a persistent internet connection for play. Nintendo's Super Mario, which is the long-awaited game that everyone's waiting to play, getting ready. It'll be available in a few days, but the game's designer notes that for both security and gameplay reasons, the game requires a persistent internet connection to play that will consume 75 megabytes per hour, and less if you're playing on wireless at home. What do you reckon about that? That'll chew through.
What a BS! Come on, surely get it together, guys. Really, don't you think?
It's going to chew up a bit of data, isn't it?
Well, there's that, but there's also just the fact of, really, you can't do the occasional check-in for authentication. It's on an iOS device. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
So, something to look forward to when we get it. We can see what happens.
Well, I won't be getting it anyway, so it really doesn't bother me one way or the other. I just think it's a lot of BS. Surely they could have done it without that.
Yeah, you'd think, but maybe just to get it right or get it going in the first place. Or Korea has had a few challenges with apparently people buying apps and then cancelling it, but still being able to play it. And that actually businesses have evolved around telling people how to do that.
Yeah, I suppose so. There you go.
So
maybe that's all it is, to try and combat that. Make sure you've got an active account or something.
So, but you think checking in would be enough, but anyway. So now, a decade later, ad team behind iconic Get a Mac campaign recounts development and production. Stars John Hodgman, Justin Long, and the ad team responsible for Apple's Mac versus PC campaign, launched in conjunction with the Intel iMac, recently got together and talked about the evolution of the concept, other celebrity ad campaigns proposed and scuttled, and the difficulties of working with perfectionist Steve Jobs. To mark the 10
difficulties working with Steve Jobs, surely not.
Just don't understand that bit, but this is the story. Discussions about the Mac versus PC campaign began with a Steve Jobs edict handed down in September 2005. No deadline, few details were provided to the ad company, other than the fact that the new Intel Mac line needed a powerful ad campaign to back it. Do you really want to pound your competitor to the ground and look like the bully? Said campaign executive producer Mike Refuso. Thankfully at that point we were the underdog, so we could be a little more hard-hitting. The team shot 323 spots over 3 years just to get the 66 that made it to air. And I'll have a link to more of that story in our show notes. But what do you reckon about that? Great campaign.
They were pretty fun, weren't they?
Yeah.
320 to get 66. I wonder if there was, that's 320 different versions.
Yeah.
Because that'd be interesting if some of those came out of the locker somewhere. Someone's got a few on tape here, there, or the other place.
They'd have to have them somewhere, wouldn't they?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we'd like to see. It is a story worth reading, because there are some other ones where they'd offered some different ad campaigns to other people, and they refused or didn't refuse or weren't good enough. But yeah, it's a nice story. And here's our friend Donald Trump appearing again. So Tim Cook to attend Donald Trump's tech summit on Wednesday. Apple CEO Tim Cook is among a small group of tech leaders who plan to attend President-elect Donald Trump's reported tech summit at Trump Tower. He's already renting it out to the government in Manhattan on Wednesday, according to Recode. Other attendees will allegedly include the CEOs of Google parent company Alphabet, Microsoft, Cisco, IBM, Intel and Oracle. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos was also invited, and he is likely to attend, the report noted. There could be a few other attendees, as invites reportedly continue to be sent by Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, and son-in-law Jared Kushner, and presidential transition team advisor and tech investor Peter Thiel late into the week. A handful of tech leaders have reported declined the invitation. As the report noted, some of the technology companies and executives disagree with Trump on a myriad of key issues, ranging from encryption to immigration reform. So I've got a comment for those people who are not going. You can't change anything from the outside.
Yeah. I guess that's the line they're taking. That Tim Cook's taking and so forth.
Yeah.
Those who are attending. There's no point.
Like we know Tim Cook and Donald had words during the campaign, but...
I can't imagine Tim Cook being a huge fan, can you? It's just kind of on the opposite spectrums, I would have thought.
That's right, but
in many ways.
You can't change anything from the outside. Fact of life.
Well, this is true, but there's also the plenty of people have gone with the silent protest. So it may not be as effective, but it's a valid cause.
Yeah. So that's my 2 bobs worth anyway.
Yeah. No, point taken and agreed with.
AirPods delay attributed to Apple ensuring both earpieces receive audio at the same time. The famous person familiar with the development of the AirPod said the trouble appears to stem from Apple's effort to chart a new path for wireless headphones. In most other wireless headphones, only one earpiece receives a signal from the phone via wireless Bluetooth technology. It then transmits the signal to the other earpiece. Apple has said AirPod earpieces each receive independent signals from a phone, a Mac or other Apple device, but Apple must ensure that both earpieces receive an audio at the same time to avoid distortion. The person familiar with their development said Apple also must resolve what happens when a user loses one of the earpieces or the battery dies. So, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, you can imagine it being a massive issue, actually. If they are having independent streams coming from the device, they've got to be perfectly in sync. You think about the fact that you can hear someone is on your left or right simply by the difference in how long it takes for the sound to get to your left or right ear.
Yeah.
Your brain can hear that little a difference such that you know which side the sound is coming from. So it wouldn't have to be far out of sync before it would sound just weird,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be looking around trying to find him.
Yeah. You'd think they'd just go, okay, there's a dominant device whilst both in, one is dominant, but if you only have one in, then it defaults to that one or something. I don't know. Yeah. But
people get paid a lot more than us to work it out.
Soon.
Yes. Yeah, it's got to get here eventually, surely.
Well, eventually is a long time. But I think the before Christmas deadline is getting pretty close. I don't know. I'm giving up on that now, I think.
Yeah, because they've got to get it to work, and then they've got to assemble them, and then they've got to ship them. A lot of work there.
Well, hopefully they've got them assembled. they've pre-assembled them, and it's a software thing at this point, surely.
We'd hope, yes.
Yeah.
So, Apple US iPhone sales grow to highest level in nearly 2 years as Samsung falters. In some good news for Apple, Mac Daily News reports research firm Kantar says that sales of iOS phones rose to a level that equated to a 40.5% market share in the 3 months ending in October. It's pretty cool. Ed Oswald reports for Digital Trends this is its highest share of the market since the quarter ending January 2015 and up nearly 7 points year over year. The iPhone 7 was the top selling phone, commanding a 10.6% share. Another key finding was that Android appears to be struggling in the US, seeing a 5.6% market share drop, Oswald reports. The platform in general has seen a market share slip every year since 2012. One potential reason for the decline could be the end of phone subsidies. Traditionally, Android phones were more heavily subsidised than their iPhone counterparts, putting Apple's devices at a premium. Another reason could be Apple's change in strategy generally over the same period to expand its line, either by merely continuing to manufacture older models or by introducing budget versions like the 5C and the iPhone SE at cheaper prices. Oswald reports, either way, it's good news for Apple. Even more news is that Kantar believes the loss of traditional headphone jack is all but a non-issue for consumers, as it hasn't had a huge effect on sales overall. But what are people buying if they're not buying Android phones? I'm a bit confused there. Like, you got Apple, Android, and what? What else have we got?
Yeah, we're talking a Samsung.
But that's an Android phone.
They're buying other Android phones other than Samsung, or I don't know.
It just
There's
confuses me. There.
What? Maybe Windows Phone has had a massive spike and it's gone up to 0.6%. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the funny other thing there, what was it, 10% 7, and it was a 35 or something percent, did you say? 45%?
40.5% market share.
So that's a lot of during that quarter.
Yeah.
And only 10% of that is iPhone 7s. So that's a lot of leftovers for the other devices.
I know. It's pretty quick. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from that's a lot of iPhone 5 S's or whatever, SE, I guess. iPhone SE 6 and 6S they're still selling.
Yeah. The SE, I think, has made a huge difference. I think that's cutting the bottom end. Realistically, I think.
Well, it's a competitive device at really, this is. It's sort of what they were hoping with the 5C, whereas the 5C was always a hobbled thing, whereas the SE is not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Apple's machine learning research goes public. A lot of the details are kind of high level, but perhaps the most interesting part of this is that Apple will now be able to publish and share its AI research. For a company that tends to be as closed-mouthed as Apple, that's a big coup, and I suspect it's no small part by the widespread perception that the company is behind Google in the area, or the arena. The article also mentions that Apple says its photo processing algorithm can run through twice as many images as Google's. Just another sign that Apple of 2016 definitely isn't the Apple of 2006. And also, as macOS Ken pointed out, the type of people that are leaders in this field generally come from a research background and like to publish. So, yes. So apparently there's...
Yeah, is this more a thing about getting them to... Oh, sorry, you go.
No, go for it. Yeah, you're right.
No, I was just going to say, is this to attract people, to attract the people they want in this market, they need to let them publish. They don't want to have them... they're not attracting the best brains because they're going to be locked away in obscurity.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Basically, what? Yeah.
Unlike the car people,
and also just to go, yes, we are further string behind the bow behind the arrow of yes, we are
Yeah,
doing stuff.
yeah.
In the field.
We are doing something, yes.
Yeah.
Unlike
Really,
the car
actually.
people, like the car people are used to working in the dark, like everything's a secret until the car's released.
Yeah.
Whereas these research people aren't sort of like that, I don't believe. Yeah. Any more stories for you, my friend?
Just that last little one we threw in there around Apple now putting a report junk on calendar.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you know how we had the
Those-
iCloud calendar spam thing that we're having, and there was
Yeah.
all sorts of ways of getting around it. Well, there's apparently, I haven't seen it obviously, but there's a new report junk. So if you double tap on it, double click, I don't know if you have to go into iCloud or where you have to actually do it.
Okay, we'll find that
You
out.
have to
Yeah.
go through the iCloud interface rather than just on your phone.
Mhm.
But you will get an option to report it as junk, and then it's automatically removed.
Okay.
And you don't want to be declining those events
No.
because that does send a return to say that you declined it, so they now know it's a valid
It's a-
email address.
Yeah.
So you can report it as junk though, and it's sucked out without them being alerted, which is a nice and fairly quick response from Apple, really.
Yeah.
Even though typically, how long these sort of things can take before it makes it into an iOS build, and in this case, they didn't have to do that. They've been able to do it directly through iCloud. So,
Excellent. Proud of them.
yeah.
So, just got to remember to promote our Aussie Tech Radio at aussietechradio.com, the Aussie Tech Security Podcast, and Aussie Tech Heads Podcast. Our friends over there. And you got Your Tech Life, The Den, Boys of Tech, Geek Fear. So they're changing around a little bit at the moment, I think. So please pop up, have a listen, and tell us what you think.
Refreshing the streams, are they? Yeah.
Yes. So, Michael and Garth's gift list.
Oh, well, now wouldn't this be nice if this gift list came true, Michael?
It
hey?
would be. It would be, yes. So, what have you got?
Well, you've got a $10 range, a 50. What have you got? A 50,
10,
500?
10, 50, 100, 500, 1500, 2.5, and 5.
1,000.
Yeah. So, what do you got for under $10?
Start at the bottom. $10. I'll just go the same as you.
iPhone screen protector.
iPhone screen protector,
Yeah.
or I couldn't really, or
a case. Yeah, cheap plastic case.
maybe
Yeah.
a nice little silicon cases can come in handy at times.
Yep.
So anything like that is pretty cool, I reckon. Or even a nice little cloth. You know those white cloths?
Oh yeah.
I love those things. Don't say it's weird. It's not weird. There's nothing wrong with that. All right? Shut up.
Yeah, well,
No,
my screen protector saves it, getting scratched and carried on. You get the scratches on the protector instead. That's fine by me.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, under 50.
AirPods. I love my AirPods. I go through so many of them. And they're $45. They're not cheap, but they're cheap enough that you can pick them up. And if you have a problem with them, first year you take them back, swap them over for a new set.
Yeah.
Uh,
As long as you haven't
so
stretched them, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they're still in one piece, they're all still in good order.
Yeah.
They're just not working, which is quite often happens. The little headset piece goes, or the attachment to the, where it plugs into the phone goes.
Yeah, but you try and take your your $10 set from your supermarket down the road.
Forget it.
Yeah. Not going to want to know.
I get my money's worth out of the $45. I can tell you. What did you put down there for Michael for you?
I had any of the USB-C cables from Apple while they're on special.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because the dearest one while it's on special is $45. So
Okay.
yeah, grab them now because they are going to change. So we've got $100, under $100. What have we got there?
Silencer for the phone.
Yeah. Don't know why.
I don't remember. What did I put for that one?
I don't know. because the list I got was a bit funny for this afternoon. But I'll tell you what I've got. It might remind you. So I've got a $70 Native Union jump cable and battery pack. So this is a little thing where you've got a USB cable and a lightning cable, and you plug it in, and on that little wraparound thing, and it's about the size of the normal earpod case.
Okay.
It's got a little 800 milliamp hour battery, so it gives you 30% more battery time. But it's always, you can use it as your normal phone charger, but it charges the battery as well as charging the phone.
Keeps that little battery. That's a pretty cool little thing. I wouldn't mind one of those.
And it's,
I do remember what
50
I've got
mil
here,
square.
and it's the,
yeah.
Sorry.
It's about 50 mil
$70
square, and it's $70. Yeah. Two different colours.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yep.
I put a leather case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a particular Senor, I think it is. They have them in the Apple Store. They're a flip case, flip over the top.
Yeah.
And I've had these particular brands since iPhone 4. I think I had one from a 4, one from a 5, and now I'm a 6 and 6S also.
Excellent.
They're a really nice leather case, flip at the top, couple of spots for a credit card, and they're, for a case, it's $80 or $90, something like that. They're not cheap, but they're just they don't add too much bulk. For leather, some of the leather cases are so bulky, and what's the point of having a really lovely thin iPhone? Case it up with this, brick. So the Senor leather cases that you get from the Apple Store, they're great. And my current one is getting a bit worn out because it came with my iPhone 6. I got it when I got my first 6. So.
Yeah, excellent. That sounds like a good one. Yeah. Under 500.
Under 500, I put in a set of Yamaha powered monitors for the studio monitor. So speakers, self-powered speakers. And for $475, you can get the 5-inch, which I'd probably want the 6.5 inch or 8 inch. But in the budget,
you have a budget, son. That's right.
Yeah, I had a budget. So it's only a small room anyway. So what does it matter,
Yeah.
So the 5-inch HS5s, Yamaha HS5s.
Okay. So I've got mine $229 Apple AirPods, and they'll get here. I'm sure they'll get here eventually.
Yeah, you'll get them for maybe. When's your birthday, mate? When's your birthday?
We've just had that scratch next year.
You've got a while to wait then.
So now we've got a big jump, $1,500.
Oh, $1,500. I had an iPhone 7.
Yeah, that's why I actually made it $1,500 and not $1,000 because it's just over anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, iPhone 7. You could fit a 256 gig in that jet black, same as you picked.
Yep.
Later on, jet black, yeah, and 256 comes in at about 1,300 and something.
See, you're pushing it. See, I kept mine under $1,000 there. I got the
9.7
inch 128 gig iPad Pro.
I know.
But then you add the keyboard and the all the bits to it. It bumps it up. But keyboard, pencil.
You know what happens if you don't spend your budget, don't you? Next year round, they go and slice.
Lower the budget. That's right.
So you can't just leave half a third of the money on the table, which is what you did.
That's right. I did.
You put your iPhone in the next bracket, the $2,500.
Oh, I know, but I'm a man of simple means, or simple man, one of the other.
Well, you'll be that's good. I know what to do with your budget.
So $2,500.
2.5. I went the 13-inch MacBook Escape.
Oh yeah.
The MacBook Pro with the proper F keys comes in at $21,990 or something like that. So the cheaper of the 3 new MacBooks, not with the Touch ID, ID and Touch Bar.
Okay.
But just the other one with still got a 256 drive in there.
Yeah.
Gig drive. Still probably the fan wouldn't be going like this current fan in my iPhone in my current MacBook is going right now.
Going off again. It's because we work you so hard.
That's it. Work gets so hard.
Yeah. Well, I just settled
All
for
this
the
video stuff, yeah.
I settled for the jet black 128 gig iPhone, which you were just bagging me about.
Yes.
The iPhone 7 Plus again. I was just 14.19, long way short of 2.5, but yeah, I can afford a case maybe. Your leather case.
Bloody nice case for that much money. You know what you could afford?
Yeah.
You could afford your 9.7 inch iPad as well, and still come in under budget.
Yes. All right. So for $5,000, I went to the MacBook Pro 13 inch, 3.3 dual core i7 turbo, 16 gig, 2.13 memory, but only the 256 gig SSD. Lean and mean.
You know what I did, don't you? Have a guess.
Go on.
Same as you, but 256. Give me a break. You got $1,500 sitting on the table.
Yeah.
Take it up to a terabyte. Hey, it's still under budget. 4,400.
Yes, you did. You came in under budget. That's the important part.
I came in. You know, around 85% of the budget. In fact, something like that. I don't know. So.
Oh, you can buy a case for it.
Yeah. I don't know. You get a nice gold one or something. I don't know. Would you want to put a case on it, really?
Actually, there's one
I don't think
really
they come in
nice.
gold, space black.
What's their name? Quillen.
Oh yeah.
It's not Quillen Pen, is it? It's Quillen something.
Yeah, it is Quillen Pen. I think.
Is it Quillen
Pen?
Pen?
You're right.
The case.
Something like
they make
that.
some nice, really nice case. They make a really nice backpack. It's about $500. Really nice leather one, but.
No, well, you know, I love me a leather backpack. Don't get me wrong. So there you go. I can still afford that and to keep under the $5,000 budget.
That's right. Yes. Other things we've bought this year, we've actually spent our money. So mine was I bought what's called a white mini smart Wi-Fi plug remote control socket power supply. So it's a little Wi-Fi enabled plug that just goes between the wall and the power unit for, say, in my case, an air conditioner. It's Wi-Fi controlled. They were, I think you can get them for about $12 each now. They were about 17 when I bought them. Very simple, very similar to a Wemo. You know, it's got its own app. A couple of differences is the app's only in Chinese. So it's a bit of a takes a little bit, you know, pushing buttons and fiddling to get there. And the Wemo sort of, it sends a signal out to Wemo. So when you're you can, you know, I can be driving home and just push the button on my phone and it sends it out and turns the Wemo on and off. This one, I had to set up a VPN, which I've got anyway, into my network. But once I turn that VPN and on the phone, connect to my home network, then I can turn the switch on and off and turn the air conditioner on and off. That's how I got around that. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, and a Wemo's are what, $65 each or something, and these are $12 now. As long as you can get past the Chinese, it doesn't matter that it's in Chinese once you've slowly gone through it a little bit, because basically it's a green button that says, in my case, one says kettle and one says AC. You press AC and it comes up with another screen that says it's either on or off. Simple as that.
Yeah.
If it's off.
It's not a very complicated UI.
No, no. Very simple, but works. And $12 each.
Yep.
Won't be HomeKit enabled, but
no, there's a surprise. Yeah, no 3084 bit encryption key for them.
No. But it's on the inside of a VPN. So the other thing that I bought that was also cheap was they're about $8.50 is a TPU docking stand holder charging cradle for Apple Watch, and it works with both the 38 and 42 millimeter watches. And it's just a little black cradle with depends on the magnet to hold the watch there, but that's, you know, it's still using the Apple magnet, so you know it's not going to fall over. Holds it at the right angle so you can just use it as your bedside clock at night, as opposed to the others that hold it in the upright position. So,
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't realise this section was supposed to be cheap stuff we bought.
it can be anything you bought.
Anything, okay. 'Cause the only thing I could think of that I bought this year was this mic,
Yep.
and the focus. So it's a Rode NT1 into a Focusrite 2i4, which is the audio interface.
Yep.
And obviously my new Nike watch.
Yeah, get nicked. Talking about the watches, notice that a lot of that they've been taking it. Apple has appeared to have sold a lot of watches over the Christmas break. They're actually having trouble supplying them at one stage, and they're also doing there's 4 commercials, 2 for the Nike and 2 for the Apple Watch that are being played.
Sports.
Yeah.
No, well, they're a good. I think there's a weight on just about all of them, isn't there?
Yeah. So they must be selling a few.
And I think so. It's getting a little bit more traction. I think a lot more than the pundits are recognizing. I would say. And this year with the Series 1, I think having that cheaper device that is still really, really good. I mean, it's still got the faster processor, which is the main issue that I had with the old watch.
Yeah.
Having that at a cheaper price point, not only is that letting more people in the door to get one, but once they're in that door, they're also more likely to go, you know what? It's not actually that much extra just to go up to the next one up. It's that sort of thing. Get them in the door. And then
would you like fries with that?
Exactly. So I'd say both of those things have had an effect here.
Yeah.
One thing I was just, I saw someone selling an iPhone, and their last year's Apple Watch, because they were getting a Series 2, and they were selling it as a Series 1. So I think it is buyer beware at the moment on this sort of stuff. Because it's a little bit confusing, this is the old model at Series 1. No, it's Generation 1. It's not the same as Series 1. You've got Generation 1, Series 1, Series 2. So it's not, straightforward. If you're buying something secondhand, really make sure you know what you're getting and you understand what the differences are between the different devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that'd be a good Christmas for Apple this year.
I think it'd be a good Christmas for a lot of people this year, Michael. Get Apple.
Including us, mate, because because I know you. That's.
I've already gone early, mate. I already know mine.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else, I don't think.
No, me too. That's a wrap for the week. And Nick, thanks again for switching in the background there.
Yeah, much better. Much more professional than amateur hour when I'm involved. So don't forget, athwebhosting.com.au. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.